Today I want to provide some general information about wastewater treatment, specifically the body of water where a facility sends their effluent or their treated water to, and basically the effects of wastewater treatment. I'm not going to get into specific details about a specific facility or body of water, but I do want to provide some information about where water goes to. And so the website How's My Waterway is a website created by the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA. And this is important because people can actually see the characteristics, conditions, and overall information about a body of water. So if a person goes to that website and put in information such as the name or location of a lake, river, stream, they can actually pull up information about um, the swimming quality, which means if it's safe to swim in, if it's safe to eat fish out of that body of water, if it's safe for aquatic life, or if it's just in general safe for drinking. And so, like I said, my waterway, and it's presented by the Environmental Protection Agency. So, as you can see, there's a name being shown on the screen. That system that I'm investigating, and it's going to be the topic of this video. And so, once I pull up that map, it's going to show the full river. And so this screen is um, a general overview about that river. And so on the left side, you can see the actual river on different tabs on the screen to get specific information. So one thing that people should look for if they go on this website is information about the quality of that water system. So a person could find out if their water system is good or if the water system is impaired. Not all, not all areas are searched or reported, so in some cases, information isn't available. But in context of this video, I'm going to show information about this river. And so, one thing a person can do is actually click on the river to find out specific information. And so, thing a person can find out is if a specific area is impaired or if the section of that river is good. Um, Water is something that's not going to be the same throughout a river. Some parts of the river will be impaired, and some parts of the river will be good. In some cases, an entire river can be good, or an entire river can be impaired. So it's good for the general public to have knowledge of resources they can use to find out if the river that they're concerned about is good or impaired, if there's any information about that river. And so what I'm going to show is different sections river and the conditions of it. And so you're going to see a photo that's going to point to a specific area of it. And so a person would actually have to go to the website and just click on sections in that river. And once they click on it, they're going to be able to see the water conditions of that river. And so what they're going to look for is something that says the water body condition. In context of this video, the section that's being pointed to, the water quality is good. But if I was to look at a different section in this river, or maybe in another river or lake or stream, it may not say good. So, like I said before, not all sections are going to be good. Some sections are going to be good, and some are going to be impaired. And so, for example, the water body condition of the section that's being pointed to in this shot is impaired. What that means is that it's not fully conducive to a specific purpose, such as eating fish, swimming, drinking water, or just aquatic life in general. So impaired means that it's less than optimal, and good means that it's a good condition. So what a person wants to look at, like I said, is again, the arrow's being pointed to in a certain area of that river, and what's being shown is that that section is impaired. So what that means is, if you put it all into perspective, two sections of this river is impaired, and one section of the river is good. And so a person can also find information about a body of water by searching on the internet for information that's offered by entity that's operating that um, facility, some type of jurisdiction over that body of water. So, for example, the municipality that oversees uh, that facility and has jurisdiction over that body of water provided some context about that wastewater treatment facility. And not only that, but pertinent and important information for the general public. So a lot of times the public may have questions about information um, and want to know how they can find out water conditions. Um, I would recommend accessing the resources provided by the governing entity or the owner or operator of a wastewater facility or whoever has jurisdiction over that body of water to get that important information because they're going to provide context about why a system is maybe impaired, why it's improving, or why the water quality is optimal for specific reasons. They could provide information about the wastewater treatment facility, and not only that, but they can also provide information about the services and opportunities maybe to improve or sustain certain conditions. Important information that a facility can put out is also available to the general public. These governing bodies provide information for due diligence purposes. And the reason why they do that is because the public has the right to know specific information. So if there's an event that happened or an event that will happen, or some type of experience that's um, changing the availability of water, people can receive information about those specific conditions um, from, like I said, that. And so what that means is, if there's an issue, people could actually get information about why there's an issue and what's being done to resolve it. In some cases, they can go to the internet, but also they can go directly to um, the EPA website, or maybe state version of the EPA to get that information. Like for example, there could be a report that puts out information about some type of action plan that's being put in place by a treatment facility that says, "Hey, we're going to ensure that issues are being resolved," and that action plan can include a timeline and maybe information about the strategic agenda that's put in place for these plans to happen. Um, Additionally, people can find out about excuse me, people can get specific information about that treatment facility, such as identifiable number of that facility, address, and then just information about activity that takes place, like, hey, how much water can that facility release? How much pollution should that facility remove? And what should be the quality of water um, once that facility releases that water into that lake, river, stream. EPA also has the environmental compliance history website, which is ECHO. And what ECHO provides is historical information about any type of penalties or violations or any type of specific um, facility. And so, like I said, it's the environmental compliance history. That's what ECHO probably stands for. So people can find out information about, did the facility violate maybe the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, or the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, which is RCRA, which in other words is, did the Conservation and Recovery Act, which is RCRA, which in other words is, did they properly manage their waste like they should have. And so once a person goes to ECHO, they can actually put in maybe the identifiable facility number, that address, or some type of identifiable information into the details about the facility. And once that information is put in, they can narrow down the information that they want to find out. So they could find out specific information about if there was a Clean Air Act violation, if there was a Clean Water Act violation, or if there was a Resource Conservation and Recovery Act violation, or if there was a Resource Conservation and Recovery Act violation. And then they could also um, find out specifically how those violations um, either progressed or regressed, or how they fit with basis. So was it an ongoing violation throughout the year? Was it something that was a phenomenon, or was it something that happens regularly but not continuously? And the reason why that's important is because people have the right to know the specific um, challenges that's caused caused by a wastewater treatment facility. So, for example, let's say that there's a facility that's not fully treating water to um, specific standards. They can go to the ECHO website and find out the specific violations of that facility. And why this is important is because if there's ongoing issues, they will have data that supports any claim or supports any type of information about uh, certain conditions inside of a lake, river, or stream. So, for example, if a facility continuously violates um, their, I guess you could say, permit, and the general public has questions about why water quality is so less than par, then they can research data and compile information about the water quality and these ongoing violations to come to a conclusion about if those violations are anywhere related to um, water quality conditions. And so reason why that's important is because the public has the right to know if these facilities are doing anything to fix those issues, or if there is an action plan in place, if that facility or that jurisdiction is actually on pace to achieve or fulfill any type of commitment in context of environmental management or some type of waste remediation. So, for example, if there is a action plan in place for these facilities to remediate certain issues, then the public has a right to know the progression of that commitment. Because if there isn't any type of progression, the public should have information about um, the timeline of activities that's taking place. Um, a lot of times, a lot of um, instances happen whereas a jurisdiction or facility will face some type of penalty or fine, isn't any type of remediation, or if that promise or that commitment wasn't fulfilled. And so the public has a right to know if there's ongoing violations, if there's penalties being placed on these jurisdictions, placed on these facilities, if there's any type of um, drawback from maybe the federal government or the state government, or maybe some type of concerned group within society that's maybe holding some type of lawsuit. The public has the right to know um, what's happening in context of some type of negative event. And so, like I said, in the future, I'm going to provide some information about specific activities that take place in a facility, and try to add some type of context about, hey, this is what facilities should be doing, um, because not all the time is it a situation where facilities just aren't doing anything. There's different instances that cause these violations. So I think the public has the right to do their diligence, but at the same time, these facilities must do their diligence to remain transparent about what they're doing and what they can do and what they plan to do to remediate issues. For example, um, unethical practices may not be the main cause of some type of violation. There could be unforeseeable circumstances or various factors that cause water quality issues. And unfortunately, in some cases, issues are caused because there are staffing issues. So in the future, we're going to talk about, excuse me, I'm going to bring up information about the actual operations and maintenance of a facility, and then also just some information about what can be done um, to treat water um, to the best of uh, to the best standards. But like I said, in the next video, I'm going to provide some information about specific practices. Thank you.